Okay, let me get... My microphone is muted, has no signal. Let's see about that. No, it should be up and running from what I can see. Okay, let me get off here. Look, I just tuned into... And I watched most of it. I caught most of it. Maybe not all, but I just tuned into my friend Aimee, who I've done 3 episodes with and will continue to do more because there's more to cover. I just tuned in to her 50th episode for her Vault series on Delphi, and she had her co-host Quester with, and then she had investigative journalist Chris Todd with, who has written on the Delphi case and is big on Ron Logan, and I think justifiably so. I'm big on Ron Logan too, and I've said that on the 3 previous episodes of my series with Aimee, but I caught this, and I had reached out to Chris Todd because I caught him on an episode of Court TV with Vinnie Politan and a couple other people on the Delphi case, and he had mentioned a rumor about Richard Allen that was out like years before the arrest, before the trial. So I was like, hey, what's this thing you alluded to, these rumors about Richard Allen? So I talked to him, and I was like, oh, okay. He's a little aggressive on some things. He didn't want to hear some things, right? Keegan Kline. He's not super sold on Keegan Kline or the Reese Davis story. So it's like, okay, well, that's fine. Well, anyways, they had a very good show, and I've only seen Chris on one other, like I said, the aforementioned Court TV episode. So I really like what he had to say, and I don't think he's wrong at all. And I think Ron Logan is most definitely involved somehow, some way, to some degree, right? I'm not totally positive. I've heard the Reese Davis story, and I know a lot of the damning information about Ron Logan, and I've had several phone calls with someone who was intimately familiar with Ron Logan years and years ago. And I have no problem in saying Ron Logan is a total piece of shit. And I'm glad he's dead. Although I'm not glad that he's dead because I wish he was still around. They could have pressed him more and got more information out of him. But you know what I mean. I'm glad he's gone. Fuck him. And, you know, I of course, I want to be respectful to people in Delphi, especially the families, the victims' families. I don't want to come off like some crazy asshole. Now, I do brand myself as Terrible Ted. I say the unpopular thing. I say the ugly truth. I say the thing no one wants to look at. And so that's my thing. And it always has been. And it hasn't won me any friends or favors, as far as I can tell, especially in my personal life. But, look, I like Chris Todd. I like a lot of what he had to say. There were a few things that I wasn't privy to, and I'm late to this party. I'm new to this story, unfortunately, much to my shame, I guess. I should have been on this years and years ago, and I just wasn't. Okay. And now he made a couple interesting comments. And he definitively said that this Delphi case is like the most notorious, biggest child murder mystery. I forget the phrase he used, but I was like, wow, okay. So, you know, I'm not a native to the true crime thing. I know a little bit about, you know, John Wayne Gacy, Jeffrey Dahmer, but I'm not, you know, I'm the quote unquote conspiracy theory. That's my realm ever since I was a teenager with the JFK assassination. So true crime, I'm still kind of getting my feet wet, but for him, with all the books he's written and several different topics and those topics he's written about, I would love to have him come on with me. Now, I'm small, but I know the Kurt Cobain story. I know the Tupac and Biggie murders. I've read several books, the Randall Sullivan books. watched years of YouTubes with people who covered both the 90s gangster rapper murders. I do love that topic. And of course, I was a fan in my teenage days of both artists. But he knows a lot of very interesting things. I'm not big on the OJ case. I've read little things over the years. That would be an interesting thing to delve into. But now Chris has written a book on the Delphi murders, and it came out years ago. And let me find it here so you can see it. Forest for the Trees, which I believe that's an allusion to what, there's a video that has been around. It's out there on YouTube. It might have been R&M or someone else who put it out there. One of the females, forgive me. I forget who, but she played it. Aimee played it at the beginning of the live stream. But Ron Logan's talking about how, they focused on people who didn't do too much at the beginning, and they messed the whole thing up, and they couldn't see the forest for the trees. Now, I believe that's why, I'm just spitballing and brainstorming here, but I'm pretty sure that's why Chris Todd named it that. But this is his book. And so if you haven't read it, I think it is worth a read. It's not on Amazon. It's only available here. It's less than $20. I like the work that Chris Todd has done. And like I said, I like several of the topics that he's covered. So there's his book. It's silvercoastpros.com. Let me go to the homepage, silvercoastpros.com. And the latest books that he's done is Smells Like Heaven, the Kurt Cobain story, and then Joseph Burns, who I believe he confessed to playing some part in the murder of Kurt Cobain, which I communicated to Chris that, yeah, I am familiar with the story. I read Hank Harrison's book. Hank Harrison was a former manager for the Grateful Dead back in the day, and then he is actually Courtney Love's father. So he was Kurt Cobain's father-in-law. And of course, they had a strained relationship between Courtney and Hank. So I don't think they had too much, that Kurt and Hank had too much contact from what I recall. But I read his book several years ago after I heard Hank Harrison on with Ed Opperman, who's another investigative journalist who's done podcast stuff for years and years. And so, yeah, the Kurt Cobain stuff is really interesting, unbelievable. And then I believe that's Ron Goldman, who was a murder victim with Nicole Brown Simpson. Okay, so anyways, that is Chris Todd's page. So I'm going to put a little shout out to him. Now, some people, I noticed in the comments, some people didn't like him. Some people think he's a little bit too aggressive with some things, but you know what? I think he did a great job today. He presented very well, and he was fair and let Aimee and Quester present what they wanted to present. And he kind of basically bent the knee and said, I want to hear what you have to say. You have a lot, and this is incredible. So kudos to him. I think he presented very well, and I do hope they get back for a second installment, because I'm like I said, I'm new to Chris and everything he said, so I'm hoping to hear more. He dropped a few little gems and names that I was previously unaware of, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch this again. But anyways, here's my little 5-minute video on what I saw today with Delphi. Go check it out if you haven't. I will drop a link below. Terrible Ted with America Betrayed signing off. Catch you next time.